Here are the 10 best racing games to be played on your iPhone or iPad in 2020. Number 10, we have Assoluto Racing. This is a simulation racing experience. It was originally released in 2016, but since then it has been heavily updated with more cars, tracks, modes, and graphical advancements. Graphically, it looks like a 7th gen console game, but that doesn't hold it back, and having 60 FPS support is fantastic. You can go into many single player modes, or jump into different events, or race in multiplayer. As you play, you'll earn more currency, which will allow you to purchase better cars or further customization options for your collection of cars. The game also supports controllers for gameplay, but not for menu interaction. If your controller is not recognized, you can go into the controls menu, then slide across and confirm your controller. You can also manually assign your controller inputs here. Assoluto Racing is free to play. Number 9 is Hot Wheels Infinite Loop. I like to think of this game as a mix of Asphalt 9, which I showed last year by the way, and Trackmania. Players will go on really thrilling solo races here. You can smash other cars in your path, perform epic stunts, and go through gravity-defying loops. Your vehicle is not made of steel, however. One slip up and you'll get completely destroyed. It's important to be aware of your surroundings at all times to actually succeed here. Some people think this is an easy game or for children, but they are very wrong. This is a really challenging one from the get-go and will test your driving skills. Its biggest setback is not having controller support. The touchscreen buttons can be quite awkward at first. Hot Wheels Infinite Loop is free to play. Number 8, we have Reckless Racing 3. Reckless Racing 3 is the oldest game on this list, but in 2020 it was updated to support new devices. It's the third game in the series, still presenting a top-down perspective, yes, but now it has dirtier racetracks, more epic power slides, improved graphics, and a larger selection of cars and trucks to drive. The game offers so much to do, from a career mode, drift mode, gymkhana mode, arcade mode, and more. It might not look like the most advanced game, but it actually does have really good physics, so the cars are impacted by different terrain from mud, grass, bitumen, and so forth. It also supports controllers, and I strongly suggest you use one. It makes getting around corners and pulling off cool drifts so much easier. Reckless Racing 3 costs $2.99 USD. Number 7 is Motorsport Manager Online. For the first time, a Motorsport Manager game goes online. Players will create their own motorsport team by hiring drivers and designing car parts. Then you can go online and verse real managers in 10-person multiplayer races. It gets pretty hectic. Your goal is to make it to the World Motorsport Championship, where you compete every week to be the best manager in the world. Like the previous games in the series, the racing action still takes place in a 3D rendered track. It looks fantastic. You can zoom in to see the action close up. I like that the gameplay is kind of straightforward and intuitive, yet it still encourages you to play around with different strategies to see which will work for you the best. Motorsport Manager Online is free to play. Number 6, we have Super Impossible Road. Okay, this is not your typical racing game. For starters, the tracks take place in space, and next, to win you have to cheat. That's right, cheat. You can be in the last place, up until the last few seconds, and then suddenly you're in first place. It's super exciting, addicting, and if I'm to be honest, it can be a little infuriating at times too, but that's the whole point. The game is not very fair, especially if you go into it playing it like a typical racing game. Cheating is your friend. Super Impossible Road offers a career mode, daily track mode, endless modes, cross-platform multiplayer between iPhone, iPad, Apple TV and Mac. It has controller support and 60 FPS support. Super Impossible Road is available to Apple Arcade subscribers on the App Store. Number 5 is Rebel Racing. Rebel Racing is an arcade-ish racing experience that has you taking on the world's elite drivers. The graphics are fairly decent. People often hype up the graphical fidelity of this game. It's a little bit plasticky and the shadows are very basic, but it's okay, it's not bad. It's also incredibly fun to play and very, very addicting for earning money, leveling up your vehicle and character. Trust me. I especially love how you can look at your cars in the AR mode. This would probably be one of my favorite racing games on the App Store if the devs added controller support, more locations to race on, improved balancing issues, removed or altered the fuel refill system, lowered pricing of cars and items, and if it wasn't based so much on a pay-to-play model. That said, it has enormous potential, and I want to give it some love. Rebel Racing is free to play. Number 4, we have Tabletop Racing World Tour. Get behind the wheel of miniaturized racing cars and engage in fun combat racing. You can play alone, online against other players, or in local or online 2-player split screen. And you can enjoy 60 FPS gameplay. Players can use different power-ups to get an advantage over the other drivers, and you can unlock different vehicles the more you progress. The cars in this game are very, very light, and the tracks are very, very tight or cramped. It's imperative that you don't hit any walls, obstacles, or even other cars, otherwise you might spin out of control. Some people don't like this about the game, so keep that in mind, but I dig it. It's challenging in a different kind of way. Also, I strongly suggest playing with the controller. It makes all of this more easier, I suppose. Tabletop Racing World Tour costs $4.99 USD. Number 3 is Street Kart Racing. Race an inch from the ground at speeds over 80 meters per hour in pro racing karts in 4 tiers of real-time multiplayer championship kart racing. The thing to consider is that the karts here are quite small, just like in real life. This means they have smaller engines, and they are quite different to drive overall. I span out of control so many times on my initial playthrough, but you just have to learn how the kart handles, and then you can get the hang of it. The game doesn't assist you, it's just 100% pure racing fun, in kart form. In fact, the game was tested for authenticity by hundreds of professional go-kart drivers. You can play through single player, go up against other players online, or enjoy a championship, and so much more. Street Kart Racing costs $4.99 USD. The game also supports controllers for gameplay, but not for menu interaction. Number 2, we have RC Club AR Racing Simulator. This game has such a cool idea. You can use augmented reality to drive a radio-controlled car in your home or wherever you like. It's somewhat limited in terms of content right now. It offers a sandbox mode and trial mode, but in fall 2020, the developer will be adding battle, drifting, race, drill, and stunts. To add on, if you have a 2020 iPad Pro, you can enjoy LiDAR sensor support, which means the car will actually be impacted by objects in the real world. Here, you can see I made a course which involved a ramp in my backyard. Or here, I made the car fall off a little cliff and knock into my pet's bottom. It's super cool. RC Club is free to play. Number 1, we have Sonic Racing. Sonic Racing is a kart racing game. I like to think of it as a lighter version of Mario Kart on Nintendo Switch or Wii. You can play alone against the AI, join a quick race against another player-controlled team, or create a 4-player online match and invite some buddies. I especially like how you can play in portrait or landscape orientation, so it's perfect to play at home or on the bus, for instance. Sonic Racing also heavily rewards you for your playtime, giving you more characters, prizes, and wisps. Since it launched late last year, new zones have been added, which includes a number of fun new tracks. Sonic Racing is available to Apple Arcade subscribers on the App Store. Here are some bonus racing games. Mario Kart Tour doesn't really compete with Mario Kart on Switch or Wii, but it's still quite fun. Recently it's been updated with support for landscape orientation during races. Hopefully next they add controller support. Come on, Mario Kart Tour is free. I talked about Grid Autosport last year, but I wanted to quickly inform you that Feral Interactive are currently in the process of feasibility testing the multiplayer compartment for Grid Autosport on iOS. This will include crossplay between iOS and Android devices. If multiplayer does end up coming to the game, I'll put a note in the video description. Grid Autosport costs $9.99 USD and supports controllers and 60 FPS gameplay. In Overdrive City, you can manufacture fleets of vehicles, collect a variety of iconic cars, and compete in a challenging racing career mode. But not only that, you can grow your city into a global enterprise and become the top race championship. Overdrive City is free to play. KartRider Rush Plus is another free-to-play kart racing game. You can race with friends or just play solo through a variety of gameplay modes. Collect and upgrade iconic characters and karts from the KartRider universe. The game also supports 60 FPS gameplay. What do you think of these iPhone and iPad racing games? Have you tried any? Will you try any? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video useful, consider supporting us on Patreon so we can continue to expand the channel and bring you more videos just like this one. The link is in the description. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Anyway, my name's Stewie, and thanks for watching.